The town of Farmington. Respecting history, planning the future.
I'd like to call the meeting to order, the meeting of May 10th, 2015, Farmington Town Council, and ask John to lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Tonight we have a number of special proclamations, and we're going to begin with the Stephen A. Flis Scholarship Award. John.
Lots of gear.
I know it. Stuff.
All right, good evening, everybody. I always love this night because in politics, we do a lot of bickering and sometimes it can get hairy up there, but there's always good tonight where we're giving away money to students in the community who do great things in our community. And so I think it's always a feel-good night of all the committees I sit on. This is one of my favorite ones to sit on. We get to read essays that are submitted by several students in the community this year. We got quite a few. And it really just, it's a testament to what a wonderful community we do live in, and our Farmington Public Schools, how great they are. We have Superintendent Kathy Greeter here with us tonight. And I really enjoy reading these essays and seeing, it gives a window into the students' lives and what they do around the community. So again, I just love this night. So we had, like I said earlier, we had a lot of submissions, and there's a lot of talent out there. But this submission was unanimously picked by our committee, and I want to thank Amy Sefferdini, Councilor Sefferdini, who sits on the committee with me, and Erica Robertson, who is there to facilitate it. So with that, I'll invite up our recipient, which is Justin Eisner. So why don't you come on up? How you doing? And so I'll just go over a couple of the things. The students are asked to submit an essay on what does public service mean to me. And we look for what they've done in the community and how they've provided public service, and potentially if they plan on going into public service in the future. And so one of the items that really jumped out at me in Justin's essay was that he led a drive for collecting used instruments and then donating them into the urban city for the students who don't have them. I think he was successfully collected 40 used instruments and were able to give those to students in need. I think that's awesome. Music is such a big part of Farmington life, and to be able to take that and take what we have here in Farmington that we're so fortunate to have and give that to students who are not so fortunate is a wonderful, wonderful testament. So I can say for me personally, that jumped out to me. You've served on the student council, on the principal's advisory council, on the debate team, so hopefully I don't see you up here sometime. So, and you also served on Interact, which is the high school club for the Rotary, which I'm also a member of the Rotary, and I've worked closely with Interact, and it's a great organization. A lot of volunteer time goes into that organization. You help with the Salvation Army bell ringing and other things throughout town that the Rotary Club does. So, hats off to that. So what I'm going to do is read. I don't think this is called a proclamation. It's called a resolution of commendation. And this is in regards to the Stephen A. Flis Scholarship received by Justin Eisner. So, whereas the Stephen A. Flis Scholarship was established in 1985 and dedicated to Stephen A. Flis, who served as town manager of the town of Farmington from 1955 to 1985, and whereas the scholarship was established for Farmington residents seeking a college degree in public administration and/or public service, And whereas Justin Eisner of Farmington submitted his application to the Stephen A. Flis Scholarship Committee, and whereas the Stephen A. Flis Scholarship Committee unanimously chose Justin Eisner's application and has approved a scholarship award of $500. And whereas Justin served as a member of the Farmington High School Student Council, Principals Advisory Council, Interact, Peer Leaders, Debate Team, volunteered at the Hartford Marathon, Relay for Life, and freshman orientations at Farmington High School, and successfully ran a used music instrument drive in our district, collecting 40 instruments for urban schools. And whereas Justin Eisner will be attending UConn in Storrs, Connecticut, where he can continue his dedication to public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Farmington Town Council commends Justin Eisner on his scholarship award and hereby encourages his continued success with his future studies. Dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 10th day of May, 2016. Nancy W. Nickerson, Farmington Town Council Chair. Now, you heard me chuckle when I was reading his school, and you heard me almost say Boston, Massachusetts, where UConn's located. That's because, as many of you parents out there probably know, last-minute switches. We actually thought he was going to Northeastern University in Boston, but he will be attending UConn in Storrs. So I'm not going to give him this proclamation tonight because we'll get you a new one. I will, however, give you this, which is probably the most important part, but you have to promise to show up at the high school for awards night. In which maybe we'll give you your proclamation then. So, thank you very much. Oh, and also, you choose a color here. These are hot items. All right. So, thank you.
Congratulations.
I want to thank the whole town council for selecting me for this scholarship, as it will help me to further my education come the fall.
Thank you. And congratulations again, and congratulations to Mom and Dad, too. The next proclamation will be Girl Scout proclamations to Christina Germano and Marie Germano.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask, we've got Christina closest to me and Maria next to her, and their parents, Olivia and Tim, are here, and so I think you guys should come up as well and join them. And while they're coming up, I'll just say that Girl Scout Gold Awards are, in and of themselves, unique, being the highest achievement in Girl Scouting. But this evening, something even more rare is taking place, in that we have sisters who have achieved this distinction through independent projects at the same time. And that was something that was very special to them. The Gold Award recognizes young women who demonstrate extraordinary leadership through remarkable take-action projects that have sustainable impact in their communities and beyond. And I should note that I just learned that only 16 young women in Farmington, including these two, have received this award since 1996. Oh. So Gold Award achievers are members of a very prestigious group of women who are certainly changing the world. And we are so lucky to have Christina and Maria Germano as members of our Farmington community. So the agenda says Christina first, and she's standing next to me, so we'll start with Christina. She is a sophomore at Farmington High School and is one of the very few Girl Scouts nationwide to complete this Gold Award achievement before the age of 16. And before we get to the actual project, I just want to put her efforts into context by saying that Christina and her sister as well are both incredibly well-rounded and involved students and citizens. Christina is an honors student, a softball player. She sings with the FHS choir, and she's known for taking on any and all volunteer work that's available through the Girl Scouts or other community organizations. She volunteers at the Knights of Columbus, works with the Soup Kitchen, and has been a Relay for Life participant since the first grade. And Christina's Gold Award project succeeded in addressing an area of need in Farmington for free access to vision screenings and affordable eyewear. She discovered that some people still have no or limited eye coverage through insurance, which means there are adults and children who forego a yearly exam or correcting lenses. And beyond living with that visual impairment, skipping eye appointments can also leave other more serious issues undiagnosed. So with this premise, Christina worked with the Unionville Lions Club, 6 local schools, and St. Mary's Church to collect over 500 pairs of eyeglasses. She worked with a local optometrist to develop a database of available prescriptions for those glasses, and then she developed and publicized a Share a Spare event at the Farmington Library, which resulted in, I don't even know how many free vision screenings. I mean, dozens of free vision screenings and nearly 100 pairs of eyeglasses either donated or vouchers for eyeglasses received. And one of the things that's so special about this Gold Award for both girls is that the related project is supposed to continue on after they're done with it. And so in that regard, Christina is working with the National Lions Club organization as well as KidSight and Miss Connecticut to help expand their program using her resources and her database. She is also, I'll add, now considering a career in ophthalmology because of this experience. So with that, here is her proclamation. Whereas the Girl Scouts of America help train the youth of our community with skills which serve them well in the future, and whereas many of our youth participate in activities of the Girl Scouts of America which benefit our community, and whereas one of the crowning achievements of Girl Scouting is the attainment of the Girl Scout Gold Award, and whereas Christina Germano from the Girl Scouts of Connecticut Council recently completed the requirements for the 2016 Girl Scout Gold Award at the same time as her older sister Maria, and whereas Christina Germano's Take Action project involved the collection of 519 pair of eyeglasses in collaboration with the Unionville Lions Club, local schools, and St. Mary's Church for the purpose of providing affordable eyewear to the Farmington and Unionville communities, and whereas Christina Germano, with the assistance of Dr. Trimble in Unionville, gave away 67 pairs of refurbished eyeglasses, provided free eye screenings, and issued approximately 30 vouchers for at-cost eyeglasses to those in need. And whereas, as a result of Christina Germano's work, this is my favorite sentence of this, the lives of the people of Farmington will be forever enriched and enhanced. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the Farmington Town Council, I hereby extend to Girl Scout 2016 Gold Award recipient Christina Germano our best wishes, and we hereby proclaim June 6th as Christina Germano Day in Farmington. We'll see. Does that mean she gets to skip school on June 6th? Oh, the superintendent's here. Never mind. Strike that. Dated at Farmington, moving on Connecticut, this 10th day of May, 2016, Nancy W. Nickerson, Chair. Christina actually has something for Dr. Trimble, with whom she works, so we'll let her do that real quick.
I would like to award you this pin to make you an honorary Girl Scout and consideration for my project. That's awesome. And then I also have gotten this t-shirt that says, "Man enough to be a Girl Scout."
Oh, very nice.
All right, everybody, I'm going to keep the Germano family up here. And we're going to talk about Maria. Maria Germano is a junior at at Farmington High School. Also an honors student, she plays soccer. She's been playing violin since the 3rd grade, and she's a longtime Relay for Life participant and captain. She teaches CCD, which is unique for someone her age, and is a lifeguard at Sycamore Hills Pool. She, too, is unbelievably involved in community volunteer work. She has been collecting food for the food pantry in Farmington since the 1st grade, and she's also very gifted with children. As a volunteer, her work in the Friends Room has led her to hope to be an elementary school special education teacher in the future, which is a wonderful goal. Maria's award project benefited community members who make use of the Farmington Food Pantry, and through all of her volunteer experience there, Maria saw firsthand the incredible work completed by the food pantry volunteers throughout the year, and she was aware that one of their goals is to provide their clients with food items that are normally found in your food pantry. And as any of us who make dinner, even once in a while, can understand, coming up with healthy meals with the ingredients you have on hand is sometimes a challenge. And for those whose ingredients may be even more limited, the challenge is greater. So Maria created and I love this, it's a reverse cookbook, so that individuals can find a recipe based on their ingredients on hand. And the reverse cookbook now exists in hard copy that's available for food pantry clients to borrow, and it is also easily accessible via web link, and you can get that web link from the Farmington Food Pantry's Facebook page. And so from there, you either borrow the book or you can download and print recipes based on the ingredients that you receive or have. So I spoke earlier about continuity, and the exciting thing here is that we will all be able to participate in this project's next phase, because in November, when the Scouts of Farmington deliver the Scouting for Food bags to our homes, everyone will be asked to include easy-to-prepare recipes to accompany our ingredients that will go to the food pantry, or even you can put in a recipe to accompany any common pantry ingredient. And for that reason, it'll continue. The food pantry volunteers have committed to adding those recipes to the book, and they'll become permanent parts of the book. So with that, here is Maria's proclamation. Whereas the Girl Scouts of America help train the youth of our community with skills which serve them well into the future, and whereas many of our youth participate in activities of the Girl Scouts of America which benefit our community, and whereas one of the crowning achievements of Girl Scouting is the attainment of the Girl Scout Gold Award, whereas Maria Germano from the Girl Scouts of Connecticut Council recently completed the requirements for the 2016 Girl Scout Gold Award, and whereas Maria Germano's Take Action project involved the creation of a reverse cookbook, whereby people can search for healthy, nutritious, and affordable recipes by looking up the ingredients they have on hand. And whereas Maria Germano created the reverse cookbook both in a hard copy form as well as in the Farmington Food Pantry's Facebook page, whereby recipes can be downloaded and printed for the benefit of Farmington Food Pantry community. And whereas, as a result of Maria Germano's work, the lives of the people of Farmington will be forever enriched and enhanced. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the Farmington Town Council, I hereby extend to Girl Scout 2016 Gold Award recipient Maria Germano our best wishes, and we hereby proclaim June 7th, 2016 as Maria Germano Day in Farmington. Dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 10th day of May, 2016, Nancy W. Nickerson, Chair. Oh, both ladies can see Nancy. Oh, we've got a hat. You can pick your color. The Town of Farmington hat. They chose different ones. Congratulations to both of you very much.
Thank you all so much.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Our next proclamation is for the Oakland Gardens Fire Department, their 75th anniversary.
Good evening, everyone. This is a very good night. A lot of great awards being presented this evening, and we're going to do one more. So, Dennis, if you'd like to come up. Russ? I think what I might do is I might read the proclamation first, and then I'm going to let Dennis give us a little in-depth history here of OG Station and your dad, and how he and the community started this great little firehouse. Okay? Proclamation. Whereas the Oakland Gardens, established in the late 1800s in a close-knit subdivision of the town of Farmington, nestled between the West Hartford Reservoir and Mountain Spring Road. Whereas the Community Club of Oakland Gardens raised funds to purchase their first fire truck, a used 1937 GMC pumper, while the firehouse was under construction. Pretty old. Whereas by the 1980s, the firehouse building was showing its age and needed major repairs, and as the community club did not have sufficient funds for the needed work, it negotiated with the town to have it take ownership of the firehouse and property. Whereas as a result, the town funded the building renovations and purchased the Oakland Gardens Fire Department's first new fire truck, Engine 8. And whereas during the 1990s, the town undertook a review to update all the fire facilities, resulting in the demolition of the original Oakland Gardens firehouse with the construction of a new state-of-the-art facility dedicated in 2001. Whereas the fire station and its new apparatus, Engine 8 and Medic 7, provide dedicated and exceptional service to both the Oakland Gardens community and the entire town of Farmington. And whereas the members of the Oakland Gardens Fire Department are hosting a 75th anniversary celebration on May 15th, 2016. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the town of Farmington commends the Oakland Gardens Fire Department for their excellent work on behalf of the community and is very appreciative of the value, accomplishments, and selfless dedication of our firefighters and their positive and immeasurable contributions to the town of Farmington community. Dated on Farmington, Connecticut, this 10th day of May 2016, Nancy Nickerson, Farmington Town Council Chair. So, with that note, I want you to fill in a little about your dad, who is a legend, so to speak, up there.
Yeah, it was good. Thanks, Peter.
Yep.
When I was a little whippersnapper, Dad always dragged me along. And, he was fire chief for a good 45 years in the company. But the interesting part, and it's all in the history, is on the Farmington Fire Department website. Go up click on history and scroll to Oakland Gardens, and you can read all of the history about the department. But I think the whole part was the roots were from the community. They sold scrap metal. They collected newspapers. They had card parties to raise money to put up the building. It took them 3 years before they could get started. And then the community built the building, which was just awesome. I have the picture in the history shows about 20 of the residents building this first structure, and that's what it's all about, and it was fun as we were talking about this celebration, and one of the young guys says, well, why don't you wait to 100 years? And I said, I may not be here then. So anyway, and what they always say is celebrate good times. So I invite all of you to come join us on Sunday from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. We'll have some great food from Highland Park, and we have got a real good set, but park at 160 Farmington Avenue, and you'll be shuttled to the facility. Thank you for your support and all your help. Thank you, Peter.
All right. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you. Russ?
Thank you.
What color hat you want, Russ? Here you go. You got another maroon. The voice of the Indians.
Yes,
You-
we'll keep it till
We'll
Sunday.
keep it till Sunday. All right.
Is that
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Make sure we give it to you.
Yes, give it to me. And I will see you on Sunday. Thank you. Thanks, Peter. Okay. Thank you all very much. It is one of the great nights when we can celebrate the students and the people in our community. Thank you very much. No public hearings tonight. Any new items? Public comment. If there's anyone that would like to address the council, please come up to the podium and give your name and your address. Okay, hearing none. Reading of the minutes. April 11. A motion, yes.
I move to accept the minutes of the April 11th, 2016 regular town council meeting.
Second.
Any corrections? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? April 26th.
All right, I move to accept the April 26, 2016 regular town council meeting minutes.
Second.
Any changes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Reading of communications and written appeals.
You have two correspondence in your packet. One is from our auditors that were required that you receive this memo. The auditors are going to be back. It does give their process, their responsibilities, their team, the different things that go along with it. And the second correspondence is a letter that we did write to the governor and also our legislative delegation about SB 11 bond authorization package. And later on in the agenda, we're going to talk, and I left at your places the state budget update. So Joe will be able to give us an update on that too.
Okay. Thank you. Report of committees. Yukon, no report tonight. Land acquisition.
Nothing to report.
Green efforts.
So the Green Efforts Committee has been very busy, as usual, for springtime. And I want to thank a whole lot of people who helped us for our Farmington Cleanup Day that was held on April the 30th. I haven't seen the exact numbers yet, but my understanding is that a record number of pounds of litter was removed from Farmington streets. There were many, many groups out there collecting, Boy Scouts, high school groups, Westwood schools. EBM was out and picked a lot of their workers picked a number of a lot of litter off the riverside, and it was really a successful cleanup day. And so if you drive around Farmington right now, you can take a look and see how clean the streets are. Although I did notice somebody dropped something over on Brick Common. I have to go over and get it. So thank you all. And
Bless you.
certainly the Green Efforts team contributes to the volunteerism on that day. But we have a great number of volunteers who show up, man the stations, as well as all the volunteers to go out and actually pick up the trash. So thank you to all those people. It was a great, great success. The other thing I want to make sure everybody knows about is that the Green Efforts Committee has negotiated a way for Farmington residents can get compost bins at discounted prices. So basically what we've done is was negotiated on behalf of the town for compost bins to be sold to residents of Farmington for $50 below the normal price. Those compost bins can be seen here at the town hall, at the library, at the community center. And throughout the month of May, we're going to be selling these. And people who want information about the compost bins and how to order them can go out to the Farmington Town website. All the information is there for them. The other thing I want to make people aware of is that in conjunction with the sale of these compost bins, the Green Efforts Committee has sponsored a series of lectures on the proper way to do composting. 2 of those lectures have been conducted already last week, but there is a third composting lecture that will be held at the Subcommittee Farm on the 21st at 11 o'clock in the morning. So anybody who's interested in learning about how to compost, whether they're going to be buying a bin or not, are welcome to join us at Subcommittee Farm for that lecture. And again, that's at 11 o'clock on the 21st.
Thanks,
you.
John. And thanks to everyone who did the cleanup day. We really appreciate it, everybody in the town of Farmington. Joint Town of Farmington meeting, committee.
Nothing to report on.
Bike Advisory Committee.
So the Bike Advisory Committee has been working with a number of projects, identifying streets to be either signed or to have sharrows painted on the roads to give people an idea of where it's safe to bicycle in town. But one of the things that we've been doing a lot more of lately is cooperating with some local community organizations, the Farmington Valley Trails Council, as well as Bicycle Friendly Farmington, to make bicycling easier and more friendly throughout the town of Farmington. There is going to be a big ride sponsored by the Germano, the Germano family, as well as the Bicycle Friendly Farmington, which will be occurring on this Saturday, starting. The first rides will go off at about 8 o'clock. So anybody who wants to join them at Winding Trails, it'll be good activity. Thank you.
Okay, Gateway Committee, Farmington Gateway Committee.
Gateway, we have our next meeting coming up on the 19th of May. I urge anyone who is interested in this project to come to our meeting. It is at 5:30 on May 19th.
And where?
Right here in council chambers.
Okay.
Our next meeting will be just one of the candidates to help us with the project, doing the economic studies, traffic studies like that, will be in giving a presentation. So I urge everyone to come to that meeting if they can.
Okay, thank you. Webpage Subcommittee.
Webpage Subcommittee. Well, as we all know, the webpage launched on May 2nd with no issues at all. It was started working right away as we hoped it would. I will say, out there in the community, I have received a lot of positive feedback. I was at the Economic Development Commission Business Breakfast and talked to quite a few folks there, all positive feedback. I haven't heard anything bad, so that's a good sign. And I think one of the things which was highlighted in the Hartford Courant about 9 times was that the easy navigation, people really are having an easy time navigating. I think we were successful in that endeavor, so that was kind of the feedback that I got. I don't know if you've heard any feedback out there, John, that you want to.
I've pretty much heard the same thing. I think that people are becoming more and more aware of the community calendar that allows community groups to put their events on the town website. And it's funny because it came up with conversations. For some reason, on the 21st of May, there's a lot of colliding events happening, and people are realizing that in the future, they can use the community calendar to make sure that they're not scheduling their big event on somebody else's day.
Right.
First come, first serve for dates, but at least the second group to sponsor an event shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And so we don't have another meeting scheduled yet, but we'll set one up to go over the feedback that we received at the last meeting. Very important stuff to keep moving forward.
Great. Well,
Thank
thank you. And I agree. That's what I've heard out there, and that people it's refreshing to be playing with it and going in and out, and it really user-friendly, so that's great. High School Renovation Committee.
I don't have anything substantive to note, but I do want the community to know that we are having our next meeting tomorrow, which is Wednesday, May 11th at 4:30 in the afternoon in the high school library.
Okay, thank you. Report of the council chair and liaisons. Chair report. I have a couple of really just announcements. One being the Oakland Gardens 75th anniversary, where we are invited, just to reiterate, it is Sunday, this Sunday, May 15th, and it starts at 1 o'clock. So if anyone, we're all welcome to go. Relay for Life is May 21st. This is the colliding day, I think, because there are a number, as you said, John. So May 21st is Relay for Life, and this year it's going to be held at the Polo Grounds, the Farmington Polo Grounds, which is wonderful. They're able to do it in collaboration with the Relay for Life people. It's, I think, just been expanding so much that they really can use the extra space. So I'm happy to announce that. And if anyone at the council level would like to talk to me about signing up, we can let me know afterward, okay? And if you haven't already. Another, you mentioned, John, the Kevin Adorno Memorial Ride and Festival is this Saturday, the 14th, and that will be going on all day, and it's at Winding Trails, and it has the bike race, as you said, John, and many events going on with food there, and a lot of things for kids to do, and just a lot of different kinds of a raffle and different things. So it's a fun day event.
And if I can just interject there, I do want to make sure that everybody understands that the Bicycle Friendly Farmington Group really is appreciative of the support that they're getting from the town in terms of helping them with that race and making sure people go off safely.
Great. Another event that's going on this Saturday is the Farmington Food Pantry Postal Drive. So you may see bags. People will be, the mailmen or mail carriers will be going around and picking up bags of food that you have left for them. This is held at Porter Memorial. That's where all the food goes. So if for some reason you get missed or you would like to drop it off, it's at Porter Memorial, and we'll be there all day. Also, I just wanted to comment on the Girl Scout project. I know by being a member of the Food Pantry Board, it really is an amazing job to put those recipes together, and they're very appreciative of it, the Food Pantry, and the people that are using that. Also, I wanted to comment, we'd gotten a few letters from Edgar King. We received the letters you all have that had come out about some issues in town with Charles House. And just to let you know that we have sent letters to both town committees so that they are aware and hopefully can discuss any ethical issues that are going on. And also, I've actually talked with the Board of Ed chair about, every so often we do workshops that have to do with having a briefing on ethics and FOI, and just so that we're familiar with the laws and regulations. So those things are possible refreshers are out there to do as well, just to bring you up to speed with things or go over things again. So that's it for my report. Board of Education Liaison. John.
Board of Ed met last night, and they really just talked about two interesting topics. I shouldn't say it that way, but two topics to note, and that was the NEASC. Recommendations were presented, and it was a lengthy discussion. So I recommend, if you're interested in that, watching the video or going to the and then speaking of video, they talked about continuing to videotape the Board of Education, and they moved the discussion to the next meeting, but they're debating on whether or not to stop videotaping altogether due to cost, or that's one side, and then the other side would like to videotape more of the Board of Ed meeting, including, before basically gavel to gavel. So that's the discussion that's going on currently.
Okay.
At the Board of Ed.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I know it was great to be able to watch them on TV during budget, to listen to their conversations as well.
I agree.
Thank you. Unionville Village.
UVIA is meeting right now upstairs from us. They're having a festival meeting. But the one thing I would like to say is to keep an eye out sometime around Memorial Day. Every household in Farmington and Unionville should be getting the UVIA gazebo. It's their twice annual publication. And what should be, I think it's on the back of it, is the details for the summer movie series that happened in Unionville. So those details will be on that publication, as well as elsewhere around Memorial Day.
Thank you. Great. TPC.
TPC at their last meeting, or previous meeting, they gave a special permit to Tom Farm Development, and Tom Farm Development are the new owners of the Polo Grounds now. And they gave a permit to them to do 12 events total, 6 with, I think, multiple days and 6 with weekend dates. It's going to be a good thing for the town, I think. So keep your eyes and ears open. There'll be some wonderful events going on down there, and I just want to hold on. One more thing I wanted to say on this. It's 6 multi-day events per year, and there'll be no more than 12 events per year. So, and this will all be a 1-year application for the permit. So, interesting stuff coming up down there.
Great. It looks wonderful.
Yeah.
The work they've done down there.
Yeah,
is
and by the way,
amazing.
this property, the Bizzuto family owns it. They are the founders of the Dream Ride in the town of Farmington, and they're going to be doing a lot of great things for the town of Farmington. I think they're laying us to a reenactment of a Civil War reenactment and things down there. So these guys are going to be good neighbors, it looks like, and I think this is all good.
Great, thank you. WPCA.
Nothing new to report, just that things are, to this point, going smoothly. Should we knock on wood?
Yeah.
Thank you. Glad to hear it. EDC.
We have a meeting coming up tomorrow at 5:30. Nothing else to report on.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say something to EDC?
Sure.
I attend, as I said earlier, attended the EDC Business Breakfast, and it was really a nice breakfast. It was one of the best ones I've been to. We had a really nice presentation from the new guy at UConn. I forget what his name is, but he's the new communications director there. And it was funny because he came from the Midwest, so I think it was the Midwest.
Yeah.
And so he's not quite up with Connecticut slang yet, and it showed, but he was very eager to learn it and get it figured out. For instance, he said we had 169 cities, which reminds me of 2006 when I moved here to Connecticut and thought we had 169 cities as well. Anyway, but it was a really good presentation and talking about the branding of UConn Health, and it was very informative. So they're doing a great job with that business series, and I think that was the most packed one that I've seen in a long time. That room was full.
It was full.
So kudos, to Rose and her group. So good job.
Yeah, it is great. Human Relations.
Human Relations met last week. They wanted me to convey to the Gateway Commission how appreciative that they are, how involved they've been throughout the whole process. They've been to most of the meetings. They've had real impact and feedback into what's going to be happening in the town. They also passed a motion, and I'm just going to read it directly, and I know that Kathy already received it in her email. In 2007, there were enhanced accessibility ordinances passed by TPZ. And basically, before we moved to the next phase with all the Gateway Commission and the RFP, basically the motion was passed to request the town manager work with the Town Planning and Zoning Commission and the Town Council to review the enhanced accessibility ordinance from 2007 for two purposes: to assess how workable they've proved to be so far, and to identify whether to amend or change them to be more useful and enforceable. So I know that that was sent over to Kathy, and I'm not sure where it's going to go next, but that commission did pass that motion, and they're looking for things just to be reviewed. And the timing is really tied to what's going on with the Gateway Commission and the Parsons area, and then our next area that we're focusing on.
Great. I'm glad to hear that, Amy.
They're really, it's been so collaborative.
That's
Peter
wonderful.
knows. It's really been wonderful, and they feel really that they're shareholders in this, and really what they've asked for, they've gotten. And I just think it makes our entire town a better place for everyone. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Chamber.
The Chamber has their 50th annual award dinner at Farmington Gardens coming up on May 18th. So that's a big night for them, celebrating 50 years, and I know they've invited a lot of past presidents to attend that event, and they will have a special speaker, Commissioner Kevin Sullivan there. So it should be a fun night. You can go to their website to get the details and to purchase tickets.
Okay, thank you very much. Other liaison reports. Okay, report of the town manager. Kathy.
You have the written report in front of you. I'm looking for consensus for two items for some in-kind services for the Relay for Life and Project Graduation. And if you remember that we have now included that in the budget process, so this will be the last time you'll see that, but I just wanted to get consensus for the Relay for Life and Project Graduation. And I think next month you may see another couple of in-kind services, but now we have a line item in the budget for that.
So do I have consensus?
Yes, but
Yes.
Yes.
There was no public comment on it?
I miss you. I will forever think of you.
So anticlimactic.
There you go. Thank you.
Memorial Day Parade is scheduled for Monday, May 30th, and the parade in the Unionville section will form at 8 a.m. and step off at 8:30, and the Farmington section of town will form up at 10 a.m. and step off at 10:30 a.m. So we usually march together, and we're going to start in the Unionville section of town this year. We did get some good news about our bond note sale. We did sell $35 million in bond anticipation notes to raise sufficient cash for the wastewater treatment plant upgrades. We did get a report on it. The details are there, but there was a couple of things that I did want to make note of, and we discussed it at the budget time. On the very positive is that we did get rated MIG1 by Moody's, which is the highest rating you can get, which is very, very positive. They did talk about our stable financial position, and by our formal financial policies, our sizable tax base, our manageable long-term fixed assets, fixed costs, and high wealth and income levels. On the negative side, they did list some credit challenges, and that is higher debt levels in connection with this financing and below average reserve levels for the rating category. So the committee further expressed their concern about the level of reserves by citing a decline in the reserves as a factor that could lead to a downgrade in the future. A full copy of the report is available if anyone would like to see it. We've talked about it at the budget time. It's really, really important as a AAA bonding a town that we behave like one. And with this project in the works, and also the potential of a large high school project, it's really important that we are striving for close to a 15% fund balance. And I think that this is in writing right from them, that we need to make sure that we continue to strive for that. And I think we're at the 11% right now, and we'll see how things go by the end of the year. But I think it's great news for us. We're able to keep our bond rating, and we're very strong financially, so this is good for the town. But I think it was in writing, and Joe talked quite a bit about it during our budget time about how important it was, and then it was in this report. So,
Well, before we leave there, could I have Joe just, if we're at 11% now, and that is what we talked about, at some point, find out what do we need by the end of the year, where are we, and what would we need to get to 15%, and what does it mean? I mean, I think we should be thinking about that when we're doing more so now when we're getting this kind of a report, when we are doing our budgeting, and think probably toward the end of the year. So if you could speak to that maybe a little bit, please.
$300,000 to stay at 10%. We've been slowly but steadily increasing our fund balance, and we've been doing it through conservative budget practices. And I think, realistically, that's probably the way we really are going to go in the future. We do budget our revenues conservatively. We do find savings during the year. We've had a lot of savings over the past few years because of the refinancing of our debt, where we've had savings during the year because of that interest expense savings, and that's the surplus or the under expenditure or the excess of revenue has gone into fund balance. And I think the key for the town, and at least over the past 4 years, is you haven't been appropriating fund balance. Not too long ago, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we used to, I call it a game, but it really was a game. We would sit here and say, okay, what's an 8% fund balance? How much do we have over 8%? How much could we take to stay at 8%? We've stopped doing that, and you've made a conscious decision or effort not to appropriate fund balance. And because you've done that, we've been able to increase the fund balance. And I think as long as you continue that practice, you'll slowly get to that 15% level. And I think that's really the key in this. We're not going to get to, I'm not going to suggest you get to 15% overnight. I think that just doing it slowly and steadily, and again, not drawing on your fund balance to reduce your tax rate or hold your tax rate steady is probably a key, because you're not relying on that reserve for part of your operating budget. And I think as long as we continue to do that, we'll get favorable reviews from Moody's on that. I think what their concern is that we start going backwards. More than anything. They don't, this is the first time they've actually come right out and said they don't really like our fund balance level, that we should, be striving for a stronger fund balance. But I think if we continue the practice of not appropriating fund balance, of slowly building towards the 15% level. And the other thing I would really suggest doing, because there's a question that came up during the rating review, was they have our policy, they have our reserve policy, and our policy actually says 8 to 12%. And I actually think that one of the things that would work in our favors is at our next review of that policy, we actually adjust those levels. Maybe instead of saying 8 to 12, we now say 10 to 15. Or something like that, where we could say to them, listen, we've adjusted our policy, we've adjusted our goal, we're going to work towards that goal. So I think that's really the direction we should be going in.
And one of the things that Joe and I also talked about, and it's maybe at some time in the future, I don't know if we need a whole workshop on it, but we've been thinking about some different things about, because of the issue with the state and some of the grant funding and some of the things that during our budget process about doing things a little bit differently, and whether or not what we're going to be funding for grants and maybe keeping our levels at where we are today. Some various things we've been throwing around because the uncertainty of the state and the dependency of that really puts us in a situation. So we have some ideas about that we're going to bring to you before probably next budget, so you guys can look at it and see if it's something you're interested in. But it wouldn't be, I don't think we want to make it a formal policy, but more of just a discussion and a practice, and that we want to maybe start following. So we do have some other ideas too on this.
Well, maybe we could incorporate that in a, talk about the policy, it's, the policy and what you're suggesting. Talk about what it means. We don't really say specifically when we do budget, we need X to stay at a certain rate, which we're becoming more, I think, aware of, which is good to verbalize, it's instead of just thinking about it and saying maybe. But what does it mean? And maybe we could do all that in a workshop and maybe go through the FOI at the same time, have a workshop on a number of different things like that at the same time, which maybe in the summer, when we have a meeting, we don't have as much busy town work going on, we could do something like that, and focus on that. It's best to do that, I agree, out of budget. So, where we should be going with that. Amy?
Just one quick question. How much is the sort of new expected 15% a reflection of what we're doing in Farmington, and how much of it is a reflection of what's going on state and federally? Not that it would change the end result, but I just want to understand.
It's a combination of several factors, and two things you mentioned are factors. One is the state level. Obviously, the state doesn't have a good credit rating. We're fortunate because in their eyes, we're not really dependent upon state funding. They look at our 85 or 86% property tax financing our budget and say, this is good, you control that. So even though the state doesn't have a good rating, they don't look at us as being reliant on state revenue for our operating purposes. And that's a good factor. One of the other factors is that we are looking to take on substantial debt. I mean, we actually closed on that band issue today. So, which means we got the money today. It's like, even though we sold the notes 2 weeks ago, we actually signed all the documents, all the paperwork, and the money came to us today. But also, you realize today, we just went from $35 million in debt to $70 million in debt. So we just doubled our outstanding debt in one day. And that's a concern for them. And obviously, not because they don't think we have the ability to pay it back, but when you start taking on rapid debt, there's a concern. Suddenly you're here at this level, and all of a sudden you're jumping up to a new level. And again, they look at that and say, okay, what are your plans? And are we talking about a $50 million high school project? So now you're at $120 million in debt. So now you've gone from $30 million, you've tripled your debt, or 4 times your debt. So they look at things like that, and how quickly you're gathering debt. And the other part of the 15%, or any level, is what your peers are doing. And this is something you really don't have control over, but they look at all towns and they say, and we try to look at we internally, we look at ourselves and say, how do we rate against other AAAs? And what are they doing? What direction are they going in? What makes other towns AAAs? And I can tell you that the town of Wallingford's a AAA. Well, the town of Wallingford they have a good tax base. I mean, it's not as great as proportionally as Farmington, but they like a 25% fund balance.
Oh,
okay?
Wow.
You're never going to get a 20. I would never recommend. I shouldn't say never, but I don't think I would ever recommend a 25% fund balance. But they have a 25% fund balance. So, Moody's looks at them and says they have a great reserve. But they look at what's going on with your peers. What are other AAAs doing? And other AAAs are 15%. There's a lot of solid AA1s, which is the next level down, who are at 15, 18%. And they're actually saying, look at Farmington. They're at 10% and they're a AAA, but we're at 18% and you're keeping us at a AA1. And obviously there's other factors involved there that keep them there. But But again, Moody's looks at that, and Standard & Poor's looks at that, and they all, use that as criteria. So if 60% of the AAAs now are at 15%, they're going to say to the other 40%, hey, you guys, you really should be getting up there. We can't justify keeping these other people there, keeping you there if these other people are moving forward and improving their position. So, and it's unfortunately the way it is. I mean, it's like a moving target, and like anything else in life where you compete or you have where a level is set.
Thank you. Thank you. And also, I think, the last couple of years, we all know sitting here, because we've all been here, but it's every year you look at the grants and you say, well, let's see how we've got to be careful and cautious, but let's see what we can do. So probably to have a discussion about, so that we're all really aware beforehand of what does it really mean, and what do you think, you and Kathy think about moving forward. So, so we have more of a philosophy of how we're going to do things, and think about it beforehand too. So, but thank you very much, and for keeping us where we are. Thanks.
Joe, don't go far, because I'm going to talk about the state budget update. So,
Okay.
we'll just talk about that. We gave you, you can take it and read it at home, but we're just going to kind of summarize. And I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version, what we have today, and then Joe can fill in some of the blanks or any of the questions. So in the current fiscal year right now, where we're living, we have not received $545,000 in grants that we have not received, that we are expecting. Our understanding is that we will be receiving that, and that the governor is going to be putting that on a bond agenda, and they're going to be bonding that, and they're going to be paying the towns through that before the end of the year. So that is our understanding of the 545. But even if we do receive that 545, you probably remember that we did have a shortfall of $167,357 in budget estimates. And that was the governor reduced the state pilot midway through the year because of the condition of the state. And this is one of the things that we always are talking about, is that what we put down on paper doesn't necessarily mean what we receive. And again, this year is dual, because we haven't received this 545, and we were questioning whether we were even going to receive it. And we also got $167,357, which we got taken away. We have also had a reduction of $51,069 due to a state audit findings of the school's special education program. So we have that issue. On the positive end of things, as if we do receive the 545, we've had a very good year on the other side of the equation, the appropriation. So we have not had a lot of snow. We've had some different things. So we are hopeful that at the end, we are going to be able to balance out and do that. It's going to be different if we don't get the 545. So, but we are pretty confident right now that that is going to happen. Next fiscal year, where we are, we've seen numbers that we understand are going to be approved. We think maybe by the end of the week. Budget to budget of what we have on, what we've put on paper, we are now approximately $233,500 more in state grants than we actually have on paper on our budget. So again, where we were in March, if we didn't make any changes in April, we probably would have been $250,000 in the hole. Now it looks like we're $233,000 ahead. That is a decent cushion, but we are still very concerned that next year that we are not going to receive all that money. And one of the issues is that 233 is about the same amount as our revenue sharings grant, which is a new grant that we're supposed to receive, and we are nervous that that grant could be a grant that if things go really bad next year, we will not get it. So right now, I think we've positioned ourselves the best we can going into next year. I think we're going to be all right in this fiscal year, as long as this 545 comes to us. And this was based on information that was released on May 4th. There is some factors that we still have to look at. They haven't done the budget implementer bill, and there's been times where there's been stuff that people are unaware of that go into that bill that sometimes is not great for municipalities. We have not really heard of anything yet, and it's our understanding that the numbers that we have got, they are going to approve maybe by the end of this week. So that's where we are. We could have more information in June, and we'll be closing out the year close, getting close in June.
After I'm scanning what you gave us.
Yep.
When do you anticipate them 545 will come? Because it sounds like if it comes after June 30th, things get complicated.
As long
Do
as,
you have a
as
guess?
Joe says, as long as we receive it and it's paid by September 1st, we'll be all right.
Okay. Is there any anticipation of a date?
The bond council meets monthly. What we've heard is that after the budget is passed, it's going to go on a bond agenda. And again, because we're not the only municipality that is short money, and that's why they're doing that, I think that they understand everyone has to close out their books.
Okay.
So they're going to, that we're hopeful that we'll get the money so everyone can close out their books. So that's where we are.
Question?
Who makes up the bond council, do you know?
I'm not sure who makes it up. It's the governor's group, right?
The governor, the state treasurer, the state comptroller, members of the House of Representatives and the state senate. I think the secretary of OPM.
But the governor calls the agenda and sets the meeting.
Got it.
Now, Kathy, on a related issue,
Yep.
when we had to go back at the last minute and reduce our budget by the 500,000,
Yep.
there was $200,000 removed from the Board of Education unspecified projects.
Yep.
Have we got any word as to what projects got canceled?
No, we have not.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Just a quick update. We've talked about in the past and during budget that we have a study that was that we have done for the fire stations, and that, if you remember, that there is $7 million that were suggested in renovations for East Farmington, and Tungus Hose Fire Station. What I'm suggesting is that we're going to go through with a working group to go over the recruitment, retention, building maintenance improvements, and operational needs. And before we embark on a $7 million project, or I recommend something of that magnitude, I think it's important that the building needs and the short-term and long-term strategic needs of the department are reviewed and they're aligned. So my suggestion is, before we set up a building committee or have the council involvement, the fire group and some, maybe the director of finance and some other people get together and kind of hash out some of the different suggestions and some of the different opportunities, what we can do, and then hopefully come back to the council with some various options for the council to review. So I just wanted to give you an update that we're going to start moving along on that. The fire department is anxious, and they would like to see us move forward on that.
Great.
And lastly, we have some great news that we did receive an award for merit for the Farmington Center study from the Connecticut Main Street Center. This award was created in 2003 to recognize outstanding projects, individuals, partnerships whose efforts bring traditional downtowns and neighborhoods, commercial districts back to life. So we had to submit a project, and it's reviewed by industry-related professionals. And the 2016 Awards of Excellence included 5 recipients. And this year's awardees are organizations and initiatives from Fairfield, Farmington, Mansfield, New London, and Waterbury. And we were awarded for planning public participation. That was our award that we received. And Bill Warner submitted our application, our town planner, and the gateway. This was our gateway project and all our charrettes and everything. So he submitted our project, and we did receive our public participation award. So I thought that was really great, and so we're pleased about that. So that's that.
Thank you. And I can't go by this without commending Jeff Apuzzo for the work that he did on the Gateway Committee. He was involved with it last year and led the charge with Amy, and I think also deserves a great deal of our credit and thanks. Thank you.
I move to accept the town manager's report.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Any appointments tonight? No. Old business? None? New business? Motion, please.
All right, it's a long one. I move that a property tax rate of 25.78 mils be levied on the net taxable grand list of October 1st, 2015, in the amount of $3,573,952,113 to meet the appropriations of the town of Farmington for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, and that such taxes shall be payable in equal installments on July 1st, 2016 and January 1st, 2017, except that property taxes, as defined in Section 12-141 of Connecticut General Statutes, in an amount not in excess of $100, shall be due and payable in a single payment on July 1st, 2016, as provided by Section 12-144 of the Connecticut General Statutes, and except that any tax on any motor vehicle shall be due and payable in full on July 1st, 2016, as provided in Section 12-144A of the Connecticut General Statutes, and that the solid waste service charge be set at $235 for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016.
Second.
Okay, before we discuss this, I just wanted to thank all of the people that came out and voted. We had 11% of the voting populace in Farmington come out and vote for the budget, moving this forward. Actually, the budget was moved forward by 3-1 majority. The roads item, bond issue, was actually a 5-1 majority, and the fire truck was a 2.5-1 majority. So I think that it was significantly passed in each of those categories. We realize that 15% is what's necessary to move it forward by the vote, but I'm delighted to see that the people that were out and voted clearly showed us that they are a positive sign in what the community, what the town council is doing. We I think have a good idea what's going on out there and what our citizens are happy with, and I believe they're happy with the town and what we're doing, and I think this shows that. So thank you to those of you that came out and voted on last week. And right now we're asking with this motion to move forward our tax base for next year. Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. 2.
And 2, I move to approve the transfer of uncollectible property taxes to the suspense tax book.
Second.
We do this every year. The total sum is $33,767,000.79. This is in no way that we will not try to collect this tax, but we have to by law. We do the suspense book.
Any questions? John?
Kathy, when we do this, and presumably a lot of this is on real estate. When the real estate gets sold, do we have a lien on the property, or if we go?
Joe?
Actually, it's just the opposite. Very little of this is real estate.
Okay.
Actually, on this list, there's only one piece of property that's real estate. This is primarily motor vehicles. And usually what happens is we go through a procedure of trying to collect the motor vehicle tax over the course of 3 years. And if we just can't get in touch with the person, if we can get in touch with the person, we won't put them on this. But 9 times out of 10, these are people who either passed away, moved out of state, that type of thing. And on occasion, there's some personal property, some businesses that go out, especially like small retail businesses that may close down. Again, after 3 years, if we can't collect it, we'll put it on suspense. But very little of it, exactly for the reason you stated, very little of it's real estate, because we could lien real estate. It doesn't move away or anything.
Other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
And 3, I move to authorize the Board of Education or a subcommittee appointed by the board to serve as the building committee for the Farmington High School roof replacement project.
Second.
Again, this is a standard item that we do once a year, and this is so the board, the building committee needs to be appointed in order to, the projects to be eligible for state reimbursement grants.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? 4.
I move to amend the award of bid number 226, installation of fencing along multi-use trails to GB Hasty Fence Company, Inc. of Agawam, Massachusetts, by adding an additional 5,400 linear feet of fencing to the award at a cost of $10.29 per foot.
Second.
Kathy?
If you remember, we approved the bid in July 14, 2015, and we've been replacing our rails to trails, the railing. We're looking to extend the bid, and the company is keeping the same price, and so we will be doing another 5,400 linear feet of fencing that needs to be replaced. And we're
Any
happy with
questions?
the
Same
company.
company?
Yep, we're happy with the company, yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. 5.
I move to award bid number 234, Farmington Canal Heritage Greenway, to J. Iapaluccio, Inc. of Brookfield, Connecticut, at a contract cost of $3,851,997.99.
Second.
So this is very exciting for the town of Farmington. So this is our, the last part of the trail that includes the bridge that goes over Route 6. It's exciting because it's going to happen, and it's also really exciting because we are not paying, it's 100% funded through the state Department of Transportation. So this has been vetted through the state, and it's been vetted through our process. The one thing that it does have to do, it has to go to the State Connecticut Commission on Human Rights and Opportunities to review for the approval for affirmative action and small business set-aside. That's the new law that has come in place that we have to do this. We're hopeful that it will move quickly. We may be taking a trip down there to get the approval from them because we have been sending things over to this group and we have not heard too much back from them. So it still has to get approval from them, but it has received all the other approvals, and it is the low bid.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and 6.
I move to award bid number 237, South Road Reconstruction, to General Paving and Construction Corporation of Rocky Hill, Connecticut, at a contract cost of $1,643,927.62, subject to Capital Region Council of Governments and State of Connecticut review.
Second.
This is another very good day for us. It's we're going to be doing the reconstruction of South Road, and we received 11 bids, which is great, and this is the low bid. And we have done work with them before, and that we recommend them. And again, if I didn't write it, I'm looking to see, but I just have, well, Russ is here. Russ, is this funded 100%? 100% through the state of Connecticut. So this is through the LOTSIP program. So this is really great. Russ and his staff applied for this grant, and we were awarded it, and it's $1.6 million. So great job for Russ, and it's
Great, thank you very much. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, N7.
I move to award bid number 239, Transportation and Disposal of Sewage Sludge, to Environmental Services, Inc. of South Windsor, Connecticut, at a contract cost of $72.50 per wet ton.
Second.
I would not call this exciting for us, but necessary. So this is when we do move our disposal of the sludge from the treatment plant. This was, the town received 3 bids. Environmental Service submitted the low bid, estimating that there would be about 4,052 wet tons of sludge. The annual contract would be $293,770. This would be a new vendor for us. The Water Pollution Control Authority staff has reviewed their qualifications and have found them to be satisfactory, and we are recommending that we approve this contract.
Did the current vendor not bid? They didn't bid?
Our current vendor bid, they were higher.
Oh, they were higher. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our current vendor is bidder number 2.
Okay. So there was not a ton of difference if you wanted to.
Other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? N8.
All right, I move to award bid number 240, tree removal and pruning services to Distinctive Gardens and Tree Care of South Windsor, Connecticut, in accordance with the schedule of costs as listed on the attached spreadsheet.
Second.
This bid is to contract with a vendor to provide tree removal and pruning services for trees on town-owned property and right-of-ways. The town would direct the vendor on which trees need to be removed and pruned and would monitor the vendor performance. This group has provided these services to the town for the past 9 years. Scott Zanke and Russ have found their performance to be very good. The contract would be for from July 1st to June 30th, with the option to renew for an additional year depending on satisfactory performance. The estimated annual value is in excess of $50,000, and that's why you're seeing it tonight.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, N8, 9.
Okay, I move to,
Oh.
oh, go ahead. Are you recusing
I have to
yourself?
recuse myself, sorry.
Okay. All right. Can we have a motion for N9?
To ratify the tentative agreement on the contract between the Town of Farmington and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 1689, for the period of July 1st through 2015 through June 30th, 2018.
Is there a second?
Second?
This is our ASME contract. This is a tentative agreement for a 3-year contract beginning in July 1st, 15, and ending in June 30th, 18. And the highlights of it is that there's some various language and procedural changes with no net financial impact, but are positive enhancements to the town. We have required legal updates for FMLA and non-discrimination language. We've had some clarification language of hours of work, comp time, and vacation time, which are clarification and favorable to the town. We've included some management right clauses. We've increased the health insurance, premium cost sharing increases, and we have the wages for year 1, year 2, and year 3 at 65 cents per hour, 70 cents per hour, and 75 cents per hour, with the average cost of the 3-year contract is approximately 2.32% per year. The increased cost sharing and across-the-board wage increase in a concrete amount is cost containment measures, and the overall effect of these changes is very positive to the town. The union has already ratified this agreement. This is our largest collective bargaining agreement, and with an average cost of 2.32% each year, that's definitely within our target, and I would recommend that we approve it. We were able to do this with Erica and the ASME contract without going to arbitration, and it did take a little time, but I think that it's we have some cost containment measures. Our health insurance has improved, and it's I think a very fair contract for both the town and for the union.
Okay. Are there any questions?
It was a good job, guys.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, N10, I move to cancel the May 24th, 2016 regular town council meeting.
Second.
Any
This-
discussion? Oh, go ahead.
This meeting historically is if we've had some problems with our budget, that we would set the tax rate. So at this point in time, I think that we don't have any business.
Okay.
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
All right.
Okay.
N11, I move to approve the following property tax refunds as shown on agenda item N11.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, a motion for executive session.
Okay, I move to adjourn into executive session to discuss matters concerning the sale or acquisition of real property, and that attendance in the executive session shall be limited to members of the town council and the town manager at 8:20 PM.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, thank you.